Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
Like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. Today, we're joined by Khushboo. She is an engineer, MBA, and also a former Amazon leader. Now she's a heart behind Lattooland, a brand making sensory play safe, meaningful, and also magical. What really began as her mom's, her own search for better toy really turned into a mission-driven company that's impacting thousands of families across India and also US. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you, Jason, for having me over.
So first of all, will you mind sharing your journey a little bit about like how this company all came around and kind of just a quick story behind it and your journey so far?
Sure. So I was working in corporate, as you said, right? I was working with Amazon. So this is something that I had not thought about it. So my child happened, and when he was young, just like any other parent, any other mother, right? I was looking for the right tools for my kid, for his brain development, for his right growth. And that is when I read about sensory science, sensory play. And I was looking for the sensory toys in India market. And I would see that whenever I would give a sensory bin or anything like that to my kid, it would really help him focus. It would really help him calm down. And he would sit there for hours. So it was literally the time of COVID where we were looking to engage kids without a screen and in a meaningful way. And that is where my search for sensory toys really started. Then I found that India market didn't have those many sensory toys. And when it came to taste safe options, there were hardly any. Because kids have this inherent thing of putting everything into their mouth, especially at the young age. So that is where my quest really began. And I started doing it for my own kid. Just like, no mother would just want to do anything for her child. That is what I did. So in the journey, I realized that I was filling a gap in the market, and many parents came to me asking, can you do this for me as well? That is when I took a conscious call that yes, there is a gap in the market, and let me also serve more parents and help create the value around it. So I think everything connected together. Motherhood literally helped me connect the dots in my life, like literally being on my education, my corporate experience, and then the motherhood all together, right? So that passion then finally became a purpose.
I see. Do you start out like part-time before you kind of scale? Kind of walk us through your scaling process for the business, because I know you have a bigger staff now after the years, but I'm pretty sure you didn't start out with like 15 people right out of the gate. So can you walk us through your journey so far on growing the business?
So I literally started, it was not a part-time sort of thing, I would say. I used to do it for my kid when I was working for Amazon. And I used to just put it on Instagram that time. So many parents really liked the idea. They used to come to me. So on weekends, I would just oblige and kind of, make something for them if they asked and send it to them. So it was very natural, a flow. And when I realized I was filling a gap in the market, that is where I literally started. So it started from a garage sort of thing, from where we went to one warehouse, second warehouse, and, bigger warehouse and so on. So it didn't start, yes, you're right, didn't start with a team of 15. It started literally with me as doing everything, and slowly and gradually, when one function I thought, that is something I could outsource, I hired a person. Then another function that I could outsource, I hired another person. And that is how we grew the team right now to 15 members.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked is because I went through a very similar journey myself. When I first started back in 2016, I was doing it on the weekend, also by myself. And, slowly and surely we are able to slowly grow the teams as well. So it was a very similar journey, and I can definitely relate to that. And one of the follow-up questions I wanted to ask is what has been the biggest challenge on growing this business so far?
So, I think mostly as a entrepreneurship, I think you would relate, Jason. I felt it is a very lonely journey, especially when you start, right? So, when I felt that, yes, on the outside, it may look very rosy. You're getting the sales, you're getting maybe media coverage, celebrities are buying, all those good things are happening. But at the same time, sometimes on the inside, you feel you're carrying the burden of the entire world on your shoulders alone. So that feeling, right? And that kind of becomes overwhelming, especially when you are a parent. So as a mom, my guilt kind of layered that, oh, listen, am I doing enough for my child now that I have my own business? But at the same time, am I giving enough to the business as well? Am I doing justice to that? Because, there's this tug of war that keeps you mentally exhausted as to what is happening. Are you doing the right thing at the right time?
100%.
That I felt was quite something. In fact, it's still something. Some days, you do feel lonely. Yes, this entrepreneurship is quite a lonely climb. When people see you from the top, only when you are near the top, you're visible. At the same time, you're carrying the weight of the entire thing on your way up, which is not visible. So that invisible weight, right, that I felt was something that was the biggest challenge.
I can relate to that. I think that's a lot of like pressure, and also like a lot of the friends or even family member around you, they never understand. Whereas entrepreneurship is really about taking the risk, taking the challenge, and it doesn't always work. Like it's
That's
not
true.
every single project is going to work. You're taking a lot of risk at the same time. It's definitely an interesting journey, and especially within the toys and game industry, as you know, is not a super high margin business. So it's
Totally.
not easy to scale. And because we're selling physical product, everything takes time. I don't know if you can relate to that.
Totally, Jason. I think, it feels really nice to be connecting to someone who does the same industry, who has seen what is happening here, right? It is difficult. But being a physical product, it's not that rosy, to be honest here, right? There's a cycle to it.
Yeah, especially this year, since we are recording in 2025, one of the biggest problem we are all facing within the industry is the tariff. It's really throwing a lot of uncertainty on, okay, is it 30%, is it 145%, what percentage are we talking about? We don't even know what really is happening right now. And as a business owner, it's really difficult to run a business without knowing your number and exactly what's going to be happening, because it creates so much uncertainty. Planning, scaling, cost management, financial planning is like creating a lot of issues, even in my own toy business as well.
Yeah, totally. Since we do a lot of imports from India, so we have a new rule, which is 50% tariff. So it was 25%. And now
That's
from
just
August
double.
27th, it is going to be 50%.
Oh,
So, yeah. So
okay.
everyone, because there are many containers which are still on their way, which will reach after 27th.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, the chaos has become multifold.
Yeah, I can 100% relate to that. But going back to your journey, how long does it took you, just out of curiosity, took you until you take that leap of faith and say, I'm done. I don't want to work for Amazon anymore. I just want to do this business full time. Like how many years, how long does it took you to make that?
Yeah, so I think around 6 to 7 months when
that's fairly quick. Okay.
Yeah. I
see.
mean, see, it was all because I was very passionate about what I was creating. As I said, right, the dots really connected in my life. I had always been very interested in art and craft. And then there was my business acumen, which I developed from the MBA, and also the jobs that I had because I'd worked for corporate for 10 years. So that plus the motherhood. So I think everything kind of came together. I saw that real gap in the markets. That is where I thought, I should. And I generally believe that, you should never have something, I should have done that. I don't believe in that. I always say, okay, don't think. If you can, do it.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. That's also like one of the hardest decisions as an entrepreneur is like, when do you make that shift? Because a lot of people I know in the toys and game space, they started part-time as well, like building their own brand business, their own like popping companies. So, and I assume during that period, your husband is also working at that time. So you have another income. Okay.
Yes.
So that definitely helped with the decision. Because in my own journey, I'm the sole provider. My wife doesn't work. So it took me 6 years to build a business and finally quit, because I need to make sure whatever the business is bringing in can support the entire household, because I don't have another secondary income to rely on in my situation. So it
Oh,
took me
yes.
extremely long to get to
No,
that.
and that is right, Jason. It's not easy for sure. I think until you have a parallel income source, it becomes difficult to jump into anything like this because there is uncertainty, as you
Yeah,
said, and it
yeah,
kind of keeps creeping up only. Yes,
for
but
sure.
I mean, I think I've heard about your journey as well in your prior discussion. And it's very very heartful. So this is
For
really
sure.
nice.
But I want to kind of switch focus about today's discussion and talk a little bit about all the wonderful product that you created. And I think you have a few products with you right now. Can you
Yeah,
show the audience some of the product that your company has developed so far?
sure, sure. So we have the set of, so as I said, right, we developed the sensory educational kits, and sensory kits are basically where kids involve multiple senses. So like our Play Doh, right? This is completely taste safe. So as
Oh,
you can
okay.
see, this, yeah.
Yeah, I can
This
see
is
it.
our brand. So when I say taste safe, even if I put it in the mouth a little, it's completely fine because it's made 100% from food grade ingredients.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and
Yeah.
kids have this habit. So the point here is that obviously we don't suggest that you eat it. It's not meant to be edible or so. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is that we try to give that peace to the parents because in the early age, especially when the kids are till 3 or so, they have
Yeah.
this tendency of putting everything in them. Or that's their way of exploring the world around them.
Yes,
And
that's
this becomes even more pronounced in kids who are neurodivergent, like ADHD, autism, because this can continue even for longer years. So that is where the taste safe element. Plus, everything comes with a distinct smell. So this has one distinct smell. Like this, we have the entire set of colors where kids can play with the dough, the Play Doh. We call it Play Doh. So this
Sure.
Play Doh set, and along with it, it comes the entire tool set, like the rolling pins and everything, cutters. And then we have the knife, everything, so that kids can create an entire world out of that. Plus, we have also something here, which is, the Play-Doh mats, as you can see over here,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So kids can basically create different shapes using Play-Doh. So if
Oh, okay.
so if I take Play-Doh and if I start creating the shapes, right? So this is the way kids actually learn. So they can create, say, A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put it here. So this is how they can create the entire alphabet. Because kids say if you just give them pencil, especially in our Asian culture, we have this habit of giving pen and pencil to kids very early on.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that is not how kids learn because their overall fingers and hand muscles are not yet developed to hold a pencil and write. But we still want to teach them the formation of letters. So why
Yes.
can't we make it fun so that they actually learn the formation of letters through the right medium, which is a sensory play, and they create it. So they can create different things. They can create what is with A, and we have different things around it. So this is for all the alphabets, as you can see. And we also have it for letters and shapes.
I see. And that is one of your best-selling product line right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So that is there. And then we have this rainbow rice kit, as you can see. So that is another product. It's again a sensory play where it comes with different colors of rice, colored rice. And then it comes with something that kids can create in the art form as well. So
Okay.
yeah, so if I open the box, it comes with different packets of rice. All the different 8 colors of rice are there. It comes with a scoop and it comes with, So these are taste safe for sure. Again, we don't say it's edible, but everything is safe even if kids put it in the mouth by mistake. So all these are food grade colors. They're nothing harmful over there, no toxins involved. So that definitely is always our priority. In fact, we have nature paints. Jason,
Yeah,
so if you can see, so this is a blue color, and this is a nature paint powder. These are again edible powders. So again, I don't say edible, but taste safe. So even if kids put it in the mouth, like say I've taken the powder, it's not a problem. The paint powder, and you mix it with water, it will become a proper paint, blue color, and you can paint it on a piece of paper. And this is like excellent for kids who are small, especially 6 months and above.
Oh, okay.
All these are vegetable, fruit-based powders which help kids create their own imagination, and especially at the young age, it is very, very important. So yeah, I had certain products I just wanted to show up, but we have more in the pipeline as well, and we have more that we have on our website and also on Amazon storefront. So that is available too. Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think because my toy company also create a different type of sensory product, but there's not overlap as far as the type of audience that we're trying to serve. And just like you mentioned, a lot of the sensory toys could also help not just kids that is, neurotypical, but also kids that's neurodiverse that could be on the
True.
autism spectrum, ADHD, or other sensory needs. What are some of the feedback that you're getting from your customers so far with the toys and the product that you did develop?
I think it's been very exciting journey so far, and customers are loving it. So that makes my heart really full. We're actually working on developing more products and getting more products, because a lot of products are in India market, which are not yet launched in US. So we're working on getting those. But the feedback has been very positive so far. So yeah, I mean, I'm very grateful about that.
I see. For your team, is majority of your team based in India, or how do you like structure your team right now?
So majority of our team is based out of India.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
And you say you currently, I think in the pre-interview you mentioned you currently have 15 team members already.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a decent sized team to manage for sure.
Yes, and remotely, it becomes it's a challenge, because I again believe in setting up the processes and going ahead with it. So that has really helped, and of course, kudos to the team who have been managing really well. So yes.
Yeah, well, that's very similar to my setup, because it's for my business, it's me and my sister in US, then we have 15 staff overseas in Philippines actually.
Wow.
We managed everything.
You would also use the systems and processes, I'm assuming, to kind of manage things well with your team?
Yeah, well, that's why we have a lot of the meeting early, and a lot of the team actually work in US hours. About half of the team work in US hours. And on the process side, it's very important to set up the project management system. If you're interested, we can set up a different call. I can show you our processes that we have established for project management, communication, because, I believe doesn't matter what kind of business you manage, it's really about process, workflow, and then the people that's implementing those process and workflow in order for the business to scale properly. So, and
totally,
especially for the type of business we run with such a low margin, we couldn't really afford to make a lot of major mistakes in the business as well.
You're absolutely right. And in fact, I would want to learn those processes, because it's an ongoing learning, right? You keep learning. I mean, we do it right now in Excel and spreadsheets like that. But if there are certain things, certain softwares that I can implement that makes my life easier, my team's life easier, then I would definitely love to do that. So I would love
to. I would love to show you that. I mean, offline as well. There's a lot of like data dashboard that we use. We keep track of all of our employees and teams' times and life. So every single day, every single week, we know what project they're working on. Are they behind? Are they ahead? What is the deadline they're hitting? Are they hitting the deadline? And also doing some workload capacity planning, which is super important for a small team. But we know, are they overload or are they don't have enough work? So it's very important to understand as well.
Lovely.
But going back to your product, I think a lot of the product you develop, not just great for sensory play, but it's also very good for emotional regulation as well. Can you kind of share and expand on that a little bit more?
Yes. I think the best way to kind of talk about this is that kids really don't know how to say, hey, I need a break. I need to calm down. I am very angry at this moment. Don't talk to me. Even as adults, many a times we suffer, right? We don't know how to express. So for kids, it is very, very difficult, and they don't know how to articulate it. But they need tools, which is the sensory toolkit, which basically act as your emotional toolkit for the kids. So what they do is, if I have this, right, the Play-Doh or the Clay-Doh, whatever you want to say, right? So if I'm just squeezing this is how I'm releasing my tension as a child. I am just working on it and I'm releasing my tension. This really helps. I am just putting my fingers around the sensory rise, and that helps me calm down, because sensory play or repetitive sensory actions, right? That actually helps in working on parasympathetic nervous system, which is your resting system, which helps the body calm down. And it also lowers the stress hormone, which is our cortisol hormone. So it works on both the ways, and that is the reason it helps in emotional regulation. It helps in focusing, it helps in calming down, it helps them to reduce the anxiety. And again, this becomes more pronounced in case of neurodivergent kids. Because in those cases, kids may be having overstimulation from the environment or understimulation from the environment. And because of that, they may be feeling very stressed out or
Yes.
anxious. And in that case, if they get something where they can release their attention, they can feel more calmer, they can feel that they are with the world, right? It
Yes.
really helps in the emotional regulation. In fact, it is used as a therapy in those cases.
Okay.
You,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Like play therapy. Yes. Yeah.
true.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And like just following up on some of your product, what do you say that make your product different than some of the mainstream kind of toy offering? The question I was going to ask you next is what make some of your product different than other competition or like what is currently out there in the marketplace?
So many of the toys that kids play with, either they are flashy lights, battery operated, right? Or could be app based even,
Yes.
where the parents have to log in and then the kids play on that.
Sure.
So our toys, so in that case, what is happening, right? If the kids are playing with those kind of toys, the toy is doing all the work. The kid is just a passive observer. Just a passive consumer over there. In our case, we try to give the power in the hands of the kids.
I
So
see.
we create open-ended play, which means it cannot just be done in one particular fashion.
Yes.
The play can happen in multiple fashion, and that totally depends on how the child wants to do it. Think of this clay dough, the sensory dough, right? A kid can create an alphabet out of it. A kid can create a house out of it. A kid
Yes.
can just roll, make a cookie out of it, or just, make some figurine out of it. Do anything that they want. It's literally the imagination. And that is what we want the child to develop at this stage. So that is very important. So these are completely open-ended toys. Secondly, we also focus on taste safe. So most of our sensory bin fillers, even the Clado that I showed you, the paint or the nature paint, and then we have the sensory bin fillers like rice and all those things, those are completely taste safe because kids have a tendency of taking things into mouth. And as I said, right, for neurodivergent kids, it becomes even more pronounced, this issue. And the third one I feel is that our toys are not meant for short term, which means, it doesn't work like that. I played for 20 minutes and then the toy is there and the kid is there. So, and the parents are like, why did I buy this toy? We don't work on that.
Yeah.
So the kids keep coming to the toy again and again. That is continuous engagement. So we design it in a way that the toys are meant for continuous engagement. And the fourth, which I think is very, very important and which is very true to our philosophy, is we always keep it screen free. I think in this, or even app free for this matter, in the age that we are in, I think parents are bored of logging in every time. Every time you have to log in, you have to create a password or you have to sign in. There is no app, there is no screen. We want child to just open the package and play with it without anything in between. And that is where it is a screen-free play. Screen-free, open-ended, taste safe, and continuously engaging.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. So as we're kind of like wrapping up today's conversation and interview here, what is next for your company? What is your vision for the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you want to take the business to? And what are some of the projects you're currently working on?
So we're in a very exciting phase, Jason, because we are growing in the international markets, especially US. I mean, beside the milestones, I think what is very, very exciting for the entire company here is to see kids playing with the same set of toys across the continents. And it is so nice because play is universal. There is absolutely no translation needed. You just give the toy and in different continents, kids are playing. So we're very excited. We are in that journey. We're excited to see all the kids playing around the world with Lattooland toys. That, I think, as a vision, what we have is that sensory play does become a mainstream toy, because you mentioned, right, that is it different from mainstream, but that is the vision, that ultimately it should become a mainstream toy and every parent should be able to incorporate sensory play in their kids' childhood, because it really, really helps in the brain development. It is actually the source of the right brain architecture. in early childhood. So yeah.
That's a very good point that you brought up. And even within the toys industry, there's a trend called MASH. I don't know, have you heard of it? Stand for mental, emotional, social health. That is the type of like toy that you're developing. I think that will fit really nicely into that particular category. There's even like specialized certification you can get that's like MASH certified as well.
Okay.
That's definitely a trend. And I think, especially after COVID, we see a lot of emotional regulation issues that arise from people being shut down at home. And definitely there's a lot more mental like health issue or challenges that we're facing across the world, not just in US, but in multiple countries. So thank you again for the work you're doing and the product you're developing. But looking back, if you have to share just one piece of advice with someone that's also just getting started within the toys or game industry, what would that be?
I think I would suggest do it with passion and a purpose. Don't be product driven. It really never helps because life never goes as planned. And if you start with a product and you're not passionate about it, it will be very difficult to say and continue, especially on the days when it becomes very rough. And it will happen because that is how it is supposed to be. It is chaos. It is a curve in itself. So when you start with a passion, that really helps you sail through. It really helps you go through those dark nights, I would say, those bad days, and then again, pull yourself up and continue because there's a purpose you're working towards.
For sure. Yeah, I can relate to that. Just like you mentioned, entrepreneurship is really like a roller coaster, right? There's a lot of up and down and a lot of uncertainty sometimes. And if you don't have like a clear North Star of where you're heading to, it's really hard to even get anywhere.
Totally. And your journey as well, Jason, right? It is so inspiring the way you worked for 6 years part-time and then got into it and how you're running the very similar challenges, right? And working for the same goal, I think, to help the parents, both neurodivergent as well as neurotypical kids. So very interesting journey.
For sure, yeah. And thank you so much for being on our show and share your journey. Where is the best place for people to find your companies online?
So for US audience, you can buy our toys on www.Lattooland, LATTOOLAND.US. And you can also find us on Amazon.com. And for others, we have our India website where we deliver across the world, which is www.Lattooland.com. And feel free to ping me on LinkedIn. I would be very happy to talk.
I see. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you again for your time and to share your journey and some of your wisdom and even experiences with our audience today.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me over. And it was really nice interacting.
For sure. And thank you for our audience to tuning in to this episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you have enjoyed today's conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you have heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and would love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friend and colleague. For more resource tips and the latest update within the toys and game industry, visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag ToyBusinessUnboxed. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestion for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on the Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.